Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is the Star Chronicles Dallas Cowboy podcast. I'm Troy Hill with Lisa Lee, Kyle, and Starstruck fan, aka Ron. We took the L against the Philadelphia Eagles. However, in my mind, it was a hard fought game. What was your thoughts on it, Lisa Lee?
Well, I don't ever like to lose to Philly just because their fan base is probably the lowest form of human form ever. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This game was so weird to me because I'm so mad about the loss and how we lost. But at the same time, Philly doesn't scare me. They didn't scare me going
Mm-hmm.
in really, but I don't know. I feel like we won in all phases except for obviously the most important one. Anyway, so I'm kind of just I don't know. I'm kind of in the middle on how I feel about that game.
Yeah, well, the phrase that's been going on and all up and down in social media the last 24 hours is this is a game of inches, and it literally came down to that in some aspects. So I'm just sitting there thinking, when you talk about inches, if you're not winning that, and then plus you're giving up stupid penalties, and then it's just like some of those other things. You're not getting any of the turnovers. There was 5 or 3 fumbles that we didn't get a turnover on. I mean, that's going to kind of equal out to an L, don't you think? Ultimately, what do you think, Kyle?
Yeah, there were some little things like that. I hate to say little things because they all add up, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
there were some stupid ass penalties, you know what I mean? And just once again, all those illegal formation and delay of game, like stuff that just should not be happening. I don't know what that's coming from. And then the fourth quarter, that line just the sacks. That was embarrassing. It was an embarrassing effort, I thought, by the line. I mean, Terrence Steele was awful. It was one of the worst games I've ever seen a lineman play. He was awful when it counted the most too. When the game mattered the most, he was pretty bad. So it sucks. I thought maybe they'd recognize it and put a tight end over there to help him out. They left him on an island against, of all people, Brandon Graham, who played all of like 10 snaps the entire game and just ate him alive. And I just thought that was a kind of curious decision not to give him any help, but it's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on that. Especially, he hasn't been doing that great this whole season. I don't think, anyways. But yeah, it was just god awful. Steele here in this that especially that last specifically that last series. I don't know if there's much that they could have did to do an adjustment because I don't think they had any timeouts at that point. So I
Yeah.
mean, it's kind of hard to say. But what's your thoughts on that, Starstruck?
It was disappointing, man. Because I hated to be right. That's what I said when we got off our last show. I said I just didn't sense that we were gonna get this one, and I said I really wanted to be wrong, and I hate when I feel like that, and it turns out to be right. I'd rather be embarrassed and say, hey, and people accuse me of not sticking up for my team and things like that, than to feel that sense that this was probably how it was going to go. I felt it could have been worse, so I am thankful it wasn't worse. But then it still was disappointing because again, we take these loss that just looks so familiar.
Hmm.
We get the loss that we had, the dominating loss to San Francisco. That's more of a regular season loss. We don't typically get beat like that in the playoffs, but these low close losses like this, these are the type of losses we get in the playoffs, and that's what was so disappointing because now we fall 3 games back. And
Mm-hmm.
now it takes you almost a month to try to even if the Eagles go on a 3-game losing streak, it takes us now about a month to even get back even. And so it's just disappointing just to see it be so close and it come down to us again with time management,
Mm-hmm.
penalties, and us falling short again and being a laughing stock again for another loss against a formidable a good team that we could have proven ourselves that yeah, we belong in the conversation, and we didn't.
Yeah, well, I don't know. With me, like I said, I didn't. I don't really care about the laughing stock thing because I mean, we lose. It doesn't matter who we lose to. If we lose a game, it's going to be somebody's going to be saying something, and I'm at the point in my life and stuff now where I'm just completely letting that stuff go. All that stuff go because it's just ridiculous to read going through this process every time the Cowboys lose, where all of a sudden you get text messages and you got people posting videos because their team lost or their team won and they're happy because the Cowboys lost, and teams are not even in the same division. This little stupid stuff. I'm so far away from all that crap. I'm just done with it. Granted, I do think the Cowboys still. I mean, it just comes down to execution. I mean, I never thought at one moment in this game that the Cowboys were out of it. Obviously, like the Niner game, where I just thought there's nothing we could possibly do. So I think there's something to be said about that.
Yeah.
I really, really do. That we were competitive, and when we just tightened a few things up. And the stretch is something that championship teams must do. We're not quite there yet, but I think if we can fix that, we'll be better off. What's your thoughts, Lisa?
Here's my thing about that, though. This is the same song and dance we've been singing since I was basically 4 years out of high school. Like, NPS for those, I just turned 50. That's how long I've been out of high school. So, like, it's like, yeah, okay, every game for every team is about execution, but why? Like, I'm watching this one right now between the Chargers and the Jets, and it's sloppy, but it's like, why are the little things, like the game management thing was the thing that sent me to the upper room the fastest. Like, to me, there's no excuse for that. And I argued with the grown man at a bar last night. I said, that is about 99% on Mike McCarthy and the 1% on Dak. Now, you have to know, and I don't care if you've been in the league one day or Tom Brady number of days. You gotta just, in that moment, everything is moving so fast. You gotta say to your quarterback in the headset or whatever it is, you cannot take a sack. Should Dak know that? Absolutely. But you gotta just reinforce it and say, you can't take a sack in this moment because we don't have any timeouts. I get it. He should know. And that's what the guy was saying. He was like, Dak should know that. I get it. But Mike McCarthy is known for terrible clock management and game management.
Yes.
And the fact that he didn't, and correct me if I'm wrong, I want y'all's opinion. Does it feel like Dak has lost the ability to throw the ball away?
I don't see in that particular situation. I don't know much of what he really could do. I mean, you got to look at how much this guy only had literally 2 seconds to try and do something.
It looked pretty quick to me.
Yeah.
I don't, but was he outside the pocket? Was he outside the tackle? I mean,
No.
Oh, yeah, that's what they were saying. It could have been intentional ground because they said his receivers are still hadn't broken the route yet. If he would have thrown the ball away, they said it would have been intentional grounding. Yeah.
Oh, if he'd have thrown it out of bounds?
Yeah, because he said the receivers are still running their route or something like that. I saw a couple people say that today.
Within the
now, I mean,
box.
Yeah, that too.
So cosmetically, what looks worse, him taking the sack or him making that, or just throw the ball out and all of a sudden losing it down?
Well, yeah, exactly. Because if you throw it away at that point and it's a loss of down, you still save the time because the clock would have stopped.
Right? Don't they get the runoff, right? A 10-second runoff for penalty.
Yeah, I think
for intentional grounding. I thought it was only like a holding penalty or something, or maybe any offensive.
I'm not sure.
I don't know if it's any offensive. No, it can't be any offensive penalty because we had two. This is the other thing. Like, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Like, you had, and I'm gonna be honest. When we turned the ball over on downs inside of 2 minutes, I thought it was over at that point. And then we magically get it back. We properly game managed and used our timeouts and this and that and whatever.
Well, we get to the 6-yard line, correct?
First and goal on the 6.
6 to 5 yard line. Yeah.
And the last play of the game, you were starting from the 27.
Yes, I think that probably drove me more nuts than anything. Just a breakdown at that point.
Two 5-yard penalties and an 11-yard sack.
Mm-hmm.
I just. And then on the second down, it was the second down play, I think, where he took a sack. And then he didn't just spike it and he just ran a play. And you wasted another 10 seconds. It was just so poorly managed at the end.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason you should have lost that game. None.
Ojo moment.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I 100% agree. You guys, I mean, to me, this is like one of those games that we kind of briefly glossed over it in the group chat yesterday when I think Ron said something about Dak, and I said this is the game that could define him. in certain ways, if he pulls off and gets the win. I don't know if it really ended up being that big of a thing. I mean, because still his numbers were really impressive. Yes, he didn't get the win. I understand that. But I can't just sit up there and say like what the typical conversation would be about Dak. Oh, he wasn't accurate. He just wasn't consistent. I can't do any of that with this game. Thoughts, Ron?
No, I mean the biggest one that everybody's saying is just clutch. Now, you can't say anything about accuracy. You're right. You can't say anything about turnovers. Now everybody's saying clutch, situational awareness type stuff. I said we're playing just like how we've lost playoff games where we had the one where he ran straight down the middle, slid, got up, and then we couldn't get the ball. And then we had the play where we threw it to Zeke last season and he gets smashed. And I
Yeah.
mean, it just looks like that again, at the end. And I say mojo moments because when you go to the training camp, they have these little moments where they're supposed to be practicing when time is
Uh-huh.
running out, and they call it these mojo moments, and they're all excited, and everybody in the stands are excited, and to see how they can handle the clock. And then we get into game situations like this, and it's like, really, like I just don't get that. And so
Mm-hmm.
it was just the running, and it was just a bad angle. He was trying to beat the lineman. I mean, it happens like that. I don't know. Maybe it was he didn't want to make that hard cut because I mean, again, he's coming off that foot injury, not too far removed from that, and maybe it was a bad situation where he felt he didn't want to make that cut a certain ways to angle to get into that end zone for that 2 point conversion. I don't know.
I don't know, but
Yeah.
that situation right there, again, it just talk a matter inches. That could have went so many
Yeah.
different ways percentage wise. So I'm not even going to really even knock him for that. I mean, I think the thing that just really frustrates me still about the whole thing when it comes to Dak is that there's literally people out there just like waiting, grown ass men laying on their beds with their feet kicked up like they're writing in a diary, waiting for Dak to mess up so they can go on Facebook to sit up there and say, I told you so. And I just think it's just ridiculous
But
still.
this has been the history of the Cowboys quarterback, and I'll let it bounce around to others. With the
Mm-hmm.
exception to Troy Aikman, I think that was the only era that I can recall that when Troy got the ball, I almost was super confident that could just be the team that, of that era, where when he got the ball, I was like, oh, we're going to win this game.
Yeah.
I did not think that we were going to turn the ball over or there was going to be a mistake done whenever we got the ball and Troy was at the quarterback. Now, I did
Yeah.
feel that way when I was really young and I saw Danny White. I really did feel that way when we had Tony Romo. I was like, oh boy, here comes a pick, here comes a fumble,
Mm-hmm.
something's going to happen.
Yeah,
And then,
that people
yeah.
like people all of a sudden forget for some reason now. They forget that he's thrown interceptions all over the place, ill advised, and fumbled the snap in the playoffs and everything else. But nobody remembers any of that stuff all of a sudden. But what's your thoughts, Lisa?
Well, here's the weirdest part about today was like the narrative, the national, I'm not going to call them experts. I can, but I'm using air quotes. They've been on Dak's ass the last, well, all season really. And like
Mhm.
today, ironically, after a loss,
Yeah.
it started to shift back in his favor.
Yeah.
And they're
Stephen
finally
A.
calling out the rest of the team. Like it was Ryan Clark specifically is one I heard today.
Yeah.
And he was like, you can no longer say that Dak's not built for these moments. He went toe to toe with what a lot of y'all on this panel have called an elite quarterback, talking about Jalen Hurts. And he was
Mhm.
like, talking about what Dak did in the fourth quarter and this and that. And he was like, but when you, and they said that, like when you have like 2 seconds to try to throw it, that's coming at you fast. And they were like, okay, Dak has proven that he can be in the championship moments. Now the team around him needs to step up. And
Mhm.
that's crazy to me that narrative has shifted after a
Yeah.
loss, especially a loss to Philly. Like, you
Yeah.
know, even
Yeah.
Stephen A was even Dak
Yeah.
friendly-ish today.
Yep.
And that's way out of character for him.
We saw this picture I shared with you guys earlier. It's been all over the internet where the guy was tackling the tight end. before he got the ball. Well, guess what? If you would have did X, Y, and Z before all the other things, none of that stuff would have even mattered. And like Ron and Lisa said earlier, on our group chat, if you run the route where it's supposed to be, that's still not even an issue. It would have been tackled in the end zone.
Yeah, that play was so bang bang, but and you can't. Unfortunately, for that, you can't review. I don't think they do reviews on PI anymore. But it's like in that moment where, if I'm an official and I look at that replay, okay, was his knee out? Did y'all see Chris Sims' post today? He said that wouldn't be considered a catch until he finished the act of the catch and falling and all that. So why is he considered down if the catch isn't complete? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because we've been through this with Des Bryant.
Right. But he had a good point. But all that being said, yeah, if I'm an official and I look at that replay, I clearly see it's PI. I'm gonna be like, the call stands, or touchdown, whatever, just because, yeah, I should have called PI. Now I'm probably ethically they can't do that, but it's just it was such a crazy play, but there were several like that ultimately cost us. Like the thing with what's the offensive lineman that he checked in as eligible?
Yeah. Yeah, but he didn't check in or whatever the case may be.
But he did, and then Dak verified it. Dak rechecked it, and they still called it an illegal formation. And I don't know if he was lined up. I don't know, but it's just little things like that. And again, like you said, it goes back to execution. If you're checking in as eligible, know where the F you're supposed to be.
Yeah. And there was one particular play when we almost got lining up offsides again. And he just barely moved his hand back before they snapped the ball. This is on defense. This might have been our last defensive series where that play could have easily been extended. It might have been the last play where he fumbled, where they got that little fumble or whatever. But yeah, his hand was all in the neutral zone, and he moved it back before the snap.
But Hassan Reddick was that way. He was pushing that envelope, and I don't care what anybody says. It looks like Lane Johnson is a half a second early every freaking offensive snap. And it's just, somebody even posted on Twitter, is false start not a thing anymore? Because it looks like he's about a half a second early every single time.
Well, I tell you, legal hands to the face didn't look like it doesn't exist anymore, because soon when what's his name mentioned that in the commentary of the game, soon he mentioned it. I sent you guys a message. You will never hear about that play or that series ever again. Ain't nobody mentioned that ever since. Looked like a legal hands in the face, dead air. And then it just never happened. So I don't get it. I mean, what do you think about is the complaints about the officiating justified, or do you think, or what do you think, Ron? Is it just we just need to execute and just play the damn game?
I think they are. I think there needs to be a review. That play last night, it's tough. Would I had called it as a ref? I probably would have called it. Yes. Was it a good play by the safety? He made a good play on the ball. The tight end probably should have ran a better route. Even better, Ferguson is the one who's to blame, because he didn't really cause the safety to really redirect the path of the safety when he was trying to cover Schoonmaker on that play.
Yeah.
So, I think the safety made it the way he got that arm around. I can't believe the referee didn't see it, because he was right there in position. So it wasn't like he had a bad look at it. He was right there and just didn't throw that flag for whatever reason. I guess he felt the play was just too close. I mean, he's looking at live action, and I said, I don't know how the whole instant replay plays on that for a PI.
I don't know. I saw still frames that made it look like that was like something that was well in the process before. I'm like, man, the ball's there still, and he's already out tack. I'm like, okay. What's your thoughts, Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, the officiating has been terrible this year all around league wide, but clearly that was a hands to the face. I mean, Bradbury even put his hands up like he knew he got caught. You know what I mean? Like a kid with his hand in a cookie jar, looked around and was shocked when he didn't get a flag. You know what I mean? Like he put his hands up like he knew he got caught.
Yep.
And then there was there was that one holding call that even the announcer was like, that's a hold on Parsons. Well, not on Parsons, but you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that should have been called. That should have been called. They even Olsen said that. Like, how are you missing these calls? I mean, I don't get it. Same with Lisa, the checking in. Like, the guy checked in and Dak confirmed he checked in. Then why are we calling a penalty on that? Like, it makes no sense. And like the whole Lane Johnson thing, he's been doing that all year. I can't believe more teams are in the official's ear yelling at them like, listen, this guy's jumping every single time. It is like it's been bad all year. I mean, it really has. I mean, I'm not one to blame refs, but like that was just a poorly officiated game.
Yeah, I agree because I don't want to be one of those fans because I mean, our fan base is when we lose a game, it's always the refs. It's always the refs, it's the refs, it's the refs, it's the refs.
I think in the specific case of last night, I feel like they were equally bad on both sides. Like there were some things that we got away with. Now, I think the times where it went against us, they were way more egregious. Like the tight end, the checking in, not checking in, that whole thing. I think they were just more, they were magnified because of when they happened. But there was pass interference like that could have been called on us several more times that just wasn't. And, I mean, it is what it is. But like, going back to the execution thing, another one that frustrated me to no end was the 4th and I think it was 4th and 8 or maybe like I'm sitting right there and I see it and I'm like, Jake Ferguson was wide open right across the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, your tight end is wide open in the middle. Mm-hmm. The guy sitting in front of me, he acted like a girl talking about football. I might as well have been sent here from an alien ship and dropped right into. He kept turning around and looking at me. He would say, "Who said that?" I said it for the 5th time. It's going to be me every time saying something back here. And but like that, Jake Ferguson was wide open. And I don't. Why is Jalen Tolbert your option on a 4th down play that you really had to have? And then
I totally agree.
On the play, it was the tight end play that ended up being short by 6 inches. Holy hell. Have y'all watched the replay? Brandon Cooks is about as wide open. There was nobody anywhere close to him. Like no one's close to me right now. Like I'm in my apartment by myself. That's basically what Brandon Cooks looked like on that right side.
Now that was a tough play. When you look at it from a different angle, the first angle, if you're looking at it straight on, oh yeah, he's wide open. But when you look at it from the pocket from where Dak was, he got blitzed right inside the passing lane. And there would not have been a time. He would have had to throw it and lob it up over the top, which would have probably give the safety enough time to make a play. It would have been a tough throw from inside that pocket to hit Brandon Cooks.
But they ran the perfect pick play. Like both of them stayed with CeeDee.
Yeah, it was perfect. But the blitz came right from that same side.
I'll have to rewatch that because it looked like Brandon Cooks was like sitting there filing his nails, like, okay, here it is, I'm ready. Like,
Dak recognized there was a potential blitz, and so he went to the opposite side because it was the shorter side of the field where he could make a quicker, faster throw versus that other side. Cooks was there, but it was going to probably be a lob throw to Cooks over the top to avoid that blitzer. And there's no telling that. I think it would have threw the timing off.
Yeah. And from what I saw, it looked like Ferguson was open, but my only thing is that
in the middle.
Yeah, but I don't know if there was anything over top. Yeah, I don't know if there was anything over top of that because I've seen in the past too where he throw over top and then all of a sudden he's throwing a pick at that point too.
Listen, there was nobody. I mean, like he was streaking. Like it was. Dak would have had to throw it fast and would have had to lead him.
Yeah.
But he would have gotten the first down. He it may have been like a Dalton Schultz, Jason Witten kind of. I'm gonna catch it and fall down.
Yeah, because
it would have been. It would have been at least 8 yards.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that standpoint. No, I do. I agree with you on that. But what do you guys think about this next game? We got the New York Giants that we're getting ready to play here, and they're down a quarterback.
2 quarterbacks.
They're down 2 quarterbacks.
Oh, wow. Well,
Tyrod Taylor got put on IR last week or this current. I mean, he didn't play. He's out for 4 weeks. Darren Waller's out for 4 weeks. This is the kind of game though that makes me nervous.
No, go ahead. Go explain. Go explain, Lisa Lee.
Because okay, we just came out of playing Philly. You were, that was kind of a game you really needed. Now you got this stretch that seems on paper to be easy, especially this specific game. They're down 2 quarterbacks. They're down their starting tight end. Their offensive line is hot garbage. They've been being embarrassed since they played us, basically. I think they had one game where they were, I think they only one game where they won. Like, everything is lined up for us to go in there and beat the crap out of them. And I just feel like there's going to be a Philly hangover. You're going to be looking down the road for 3 more weeks where you play Philly again. But you got to do something right now in this month because you are going through a gauntlet in December.
Yeah. Yep. And I mean, it is easy because I've mentioned this that, well, I mean, we could easily be right back here where we're at. We could easily be right where we're at yesterday. 3 weeks, but
Philly's gauntlet is right now. Philly's gauntlet is in November.
But we got to do our
gauntlet,
part.
I will say, ours in December is a lot less gauntlet-y than I originally thought because Miami, not sold. Buffalo, for sure not sold. Detroit, that's going to be a little saucy. But
yeah.
And then Philly, of course. But
I don't know. Thought to Kyle.
Oh yeah, I'm not remotely worried about the Giants one bit. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they finished 2 weeks ago with like negative passing yards. They looked awful against a team that just fired their coach, general manager, offensive coordinator, and played with a rookie quarterback making his like second career start. And they should win. They should win this game 40-0. Like honestly, this might be the one game I'm least worried about all year after watching the Giants play. They are down and out, and they know it. They're done.
So where are you going to watch the game, Kyle? Since they're probably going to have a game in a week instead of your actual home game.
Unfortunately, I have to work, but I will be watching it at work.
Oh, wow.
I have a little iPad set up. I'll be watching it at work. Don't worry.
Well, ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. What do you think, Ron? Why don't you think there's gonna be no issues and no problems? Why should I be able to sit there and go into this game with calm and positive feelings?
We're back at home. Got 11 game home win streak.
That's a whole other thing.
Yeah, we just came off a bad loss, like we did against San Francisco. Oh, it wasn't a bad loss. I take that back. We came off a game we really needed to win, and we didn't. So I think the team's gonna be fired up just like they were after the San Francisco game. They're gonna be mad, and they're just gonna win. I don't know what the score. I want it to be, and I want to think just like Kyle is saying 40-0. That's what I really want to feel. It might turn out to be some crazier, closer game, kind of like how the Chargers game was. I hope not. But they're going to win regardless. That's how I look at it. I don't see them not winning the game. But, yeah, I would love to see and hope that it's going to be a blowout.
I think we're going to win, but I think there might be some potential. I'm kind of more like in the Lisa boat this week. I think there's going to be a little bit of effery going on at first. I think we're going to have to settle in this one and go ahead. And I think we're going to win, but I just don't think it's going to be as easy as everyone thinks it's going to be.
I don't know. Their offensive line gave up like 8 sacks again last week. That's like the 3rd time this year their lines get up 8 sacks. I mean, they're playing with a guy named Tommy DeVito. Waller's hurt. They literally have nothing going on for them right now. Like they're embarrassingly bad.
I really want.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like this scored. Yeah. I think so too. I could see it. Like this is a stat padding game for me. I think Dallas lays it on them. Like I think they make it a point to lay it on them too. Like
it's
40-0
one
style.
of those where the people are going to be right back on us again, saying it's the vicious cycle of the Cowboys.
Yeah.
You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. That's the life of a Dallas Cowboy fan.
We need to win. Beat them. I don't care if they're a bad team. Beat them. I don't care.
Here's why it needs to be a blowout, because the guy that I'm seeing, we've never watched a Cowboy game together, and I need it to be a blowout so I don't show my entire ass. Like, and because like all my friends are like, "Have y'all watched a game together yet?" I'm like, "No," because it's long distance. So, and I'm like, "Oh my god, he's gonna be in town this weekend," and I'm like,
wow.
"Oh no, the Cowboys play on Sunday," and I'm like. And all my friends are like, "Well, if he survives this weekend, I guess you'll know more about it."
Perfect timing.
Well, I hope that works out.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I say by the second half, it's going to be Netflix and chill for you, Lisa.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my! That
Oh,
escalated quickly.
I'm like, wow.
No, I agree. This is me and Ron agree on this one. I
Wow.
do too. I think it's going to
Wow.
be a. Yeah.
Wow. And that was coming from Star. Wow.
I know. That
I'm
is
like,
hysterical.
I'm writing down. Let me go ahead and put a check mark here on this day.
Yeah, that was not on my bingo card that anybody would say that. That's hysterical.
11 and 1. Home field advantage is that really a thing? Do you guys really buy into that? For whatever reason, I still don't buy into it. I don't look at it like
I don't
we
think
got
it's
this
a home field advantage necessarily. I just feel like they do play better at home.
Okay. Yes, I don't feel like everybody's, we're coming to the dreaded Death Star. facing
And I think
facing the 12th man Dallas Cowboy fans.
the
Mm-mm.
schedule has
They're
lined itself up too for us. If we look back and really evaluate the last 11 games, we've had some games that really played into our hands as far as the teams that have walked into our house too. I think it's really lined up perfectly when you look back at those last 11, 12 games.
mm-hmm. Where are we at, by the way? Does anybody have a clue where we're at with our predictions? Is anybody be at 5-3 this moment?
You know what? I had them splitting with the Giants, but after watching how bad they are, I'm definitely saying we're taking that Giants game.
Okay.
I had them splitting though, but not anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, Washington's still chugging along or whatever. They gave up half their damn team during the trade deadline, it seems like, and they're still getting W's over the Patriots.
Chase Young came. I saw a video today of him walking out onto the practice field, and I was like, "Oh, for the love!" He was walking out. I don't know who he's walking out there with, but then like he and Nick Bosa were standing there together. Like Nick was kind of showing him. I was like, "Good Lord!"
Yep, for a third round draft pick and a 12 piece Bojangles party pack,
some chicken nuggets from Chick-fil-A.
Yep, and a gift certificate for a free breakfast sandwich the next day if you're in the area. Isn't that just still ridiculous?
I know we won't get to this one until next week, but everybody, for those that are having some concern with this Giants game, we go on the road against the Panthers next week, so we can talk about that a little bit differently. Now, if you want to have a game that might be questionable, it's a road game, and it's against the Panthers.
Let me tell you something.
Against
the 1-win Panthers? I don't know.
QB, a top rookie QB that hadn't done much all season. You know how we do against some of these top rookie phenom QBs out of nowhere.
The only rookie phenom QB that I'd be worried about right now is plays in Houston.
Yeah.
But
he's
I'm just saying,
very short of a phenom.
QBs play against us. All of a sudden, you haven't heard from him all season long.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the guy rips 3 touchdowns. Like, where has this been all season? And like I say, it's on the road because we've got 3 losses on the road, and all of our wins so far have been at home this season. We've lost all of our games on the road so far.
I tell you this, I'm less worried about the Panthers than I am about the Giants, only because the Giants is a division game. That's the only reason that kind of gives me some,
We know the Giants. We know what they expect.
Yeah, I forgot about the Panthers.
We're not as familiar.
Speaking of chicken and stuff, and the Panthers and North Carolina, could they please kindly give us the chicken also at the Bojangles here in Texas, and not just their damn chicken tender wings or whatever?
What do you mean?
Well, no, we got Bojangles here in Texas now, but it's not the damn chicken. It's just chicken tenders.
Oh, I was about to say there's a Bojangles opening.
Yeah, and
where did I see it? I just saw it the other day.
And it's just going to be the damn chicken tenders. We got 5 billion chicken tender places in damn Texas. We don't need just somebody to introduce their chicken tenders when they know they got fried chicken with bones in it.
Cane's, Lane's chicken.
Lane's. I mean, Mr. Jimmy Mr. Jimmy on the side of the street tenders. Everybody. I got a chicken tender restaurant. Anyways, it's just ridiculous. But anyways, as always, it's always fun talking about Dallas Cowboy football, win, lose, or draw. You have any final words to the people this evening, Kyle?
I would say that it sucks losing to Philly, but I think we'll rebound this week, and we'll be all right. We'll be all right. Philly looks very beatable. You know what I mean? Like I think a few questionable special teams plays gave them excellent field position, something you don't want to do against Philadelphia. Yeah. But like that to me, that was the that's what lost the game was those two special teams plays because
Okay.
giving them the ball basically at midfield is something you don't want to do against a team like Philadelphia, but they clean that up, they'll be all right.
Yeah, one thing I hope they look forward to when they play Philadelphia again is that you got to get these jokers at like 3rd and 6. Otherwise, you might as well, or 3rd and 4, you might as well just give it up outside of that because they're gonna turn into that 4 down little goofy Tecmo Bowl cheat code BS.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate that damn play. But anyways, final words from you, Lisa Lee.
You know, just blow them out this weekend so I don't make a fool of myself. That's it. That's it. Let it be over by halftime.
Yep, let it be over by halftime so it can turn into Netflix and chill, as
Yes, that.
as Starstruck so eloquently put it. But anyways,
That's awesome.
how about you, Ron? What do you got for final words?
Couple of things I want to see this week. For one, I want to see the wide receivers get in the end zone, actually get a touchdown. CD Lamb had a lot of gang of yards and never could get into the end zone, and that's what we really need. If he could have given me the touchdowns, or if we could have given him the touchdowns and not the yards, I would have taken that. And another thing, I love what I'm seeing out of the guy, but if I can see a little less of him this week, I'll be okay, and that's Brandon Aubrey coming out kicking field goals. We
Mm-hmm.
needed more touchdowns than field goals.
Mm-hmm.
The minute he comes out, I'm glad. I'm happy for him. He's got a streak, but we need touchdowns in those red zone areas. We need more touchdowns.
Yeah, but in defense, we were in the red zone 3 times. We got it 2 out of 3. That's better than what we have done recently. So it's a
That
little bit
one
of
time he
improvement.
kicked a field goal though,
Yeah,
17, and the Eagles were putting up nothing but straight touchdowns, sevens on the board. That's
true.
28-17.
Yeah, yeah, true. I mean, I
So
just want to.
yeah,
I mean, I do want to see. I would like to see more CeeDee Lamb. I definitely want to see more Brandon Cooks. I do
yeah,
like
one
seeing.
catch.
Yeah, I do like seeing Ferguson way more. I mean, that's something I do like seeing him. That combination between Ferguson and CD, that could be deadly. They're still sticking with the pre-motion, which I mean, they're still doing that, which is helping. I want the run game to improve. I still think it comes down to blocking. I don't think it has anything to do with Pollard and Dottle. I still don't think they're not that. I still think they're not that bad. Um, I just think these are the next couple of games where we do need the wins, but we do need to practice and hone our skill set on what we're trying to do and stuff going forward. I mean, I hate to make it seem like we're preparing to play Philadelphia again, but still, it is what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, that's still part of the challenge. It would have been a lot easier, with victory yesterday, but now here we are, Cowboy fashion. We kind of put ourselves in a little bit of hole again. So hopefully we can dig ourselves out of it. But anyways, on behalf of myself, Lisa Lee, Ron, and Kyle, we will see you guys next time. Thank you for listening in to the Star Chronicles. How about them Cowboys?